It's like the Governor Whitmer case.
Right.
Where there's 14 people involved in kidnapping her, and 12 of them are FBI informants.
Right.
Which is fucking bonkers. And then the two guys who are doing hard time, they're like, we thought it was fantasy. Like, we're idiots. We didn't know. Like, one of the guys literally said, I never planned on doing anything. To me, it was just fantasy.
Yeah, well, I mean...
They're morons who get talked into this. And imagine you're getting talked into this by 12 people who turn out to be informants.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and why are there so many informants,
Yeah.
Like hanging around with
fucking
this...
head of the Proud Boys.
Right.
The head of the Proud Boys was
that
an
true?
informant.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
And what's his name? Enrique Tarrio? Yeah, pull that up. He was a fucking informant. So this guy who is at the head of the Proud Boys, the guy who's organizing the things, he was an FBI informant.
Wow.
The
Amazing.
whole, do you know the story of the Proud Boys? The real origin story?
No, I don't, actually.
Oh my God. The origin story is amazing. The origin story, here we go. Proud Boys leader was prolific informer for law enforcement. Enrique Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys extremist group, has a past informer for federal and local law enforcement, repeatedly working undercover for investigators after he was arrested in 2012, according to a former prosecutor in a transcript of a 2014 federal court proceeding obtained by Reuters. So the Proud Boys started off as a joke on Anthony Cumia's radio show, where Gavin McGinnis, who was a regular guest, they made a joke about one of the guys who was an intern. And he was, they were doing a joke about him being in a musical, and the musical, like, Proud of My Boy. And they were singing a song, like, we're the Proud Boys, proud of my boy. And they're like, we're going to put together a group called the Proud Boys. And so they decided to have, like, this fake group of people. And to get into this group, they had to punch you in the arm, and you have to read off, like, remember different breakfast cereals. Like, it's all, like, really hilarious, stupid shit. But then Gavin, Gavin's one of those guys that just, like, he's a legitimate maniac, which was great when he was running Vice and not so great when he gets involved in extremist groups.
Right.
And so his idea was like, fuck these crazy Antifa people. We're going to develop our own group. We're going to go after them. We're going to fight them when we go to these, because they would show up at any time he had to do speeches, and they would protest him. He's like, we're going to beat the Proud Boys. We're going to show them. We're going to fight them. And I'm like, hey, like, that doesn't end well.
Right.
And obviously it ended terribly. And that's where the Proud Boys origin story came from.
That's amazing.
It came from the Anthony Cumia radio show. From Opie and Anthony. Anthony from Opie and Anthony. Dude, it's a joke. Like, Anthony came on the podcast and told the origin story of it. There's a famous clip that's on YouTube, and it's hilarious.
And then it ends up being like, a central issue in like the presidential campaign,
yes.
right? Like,
yes, it's nuts.
America couldn't be more ridiculous,
dude. But if you know Anthony and you know Gavin, like, I've known Gavin forever. Gavin's just nuts. Like, he's not an extremist. He's not an evil person. He's just nuts. But he fucked up when he created that group. I'm like, dude, you can't just punch people in the face, because you punch people in the face, they come back with a bat. Now you have a war. Like, this, you just can't just say, we're going to go hit people. Like, that always ends badly.
Right.
But he just was having fun and kept pushing it. He's a push the limits, push the envelope guy. And then now it's this hate group that people bring up in political speech, and the Proud Boys and the white supremacists, and like the Proud Boys.
And they have a life of their own now, right?
Now it's beyond. They don't even like him anymore.
Right.
They kicked him out of a meeting. He went to a meeting in Vegas. He's persona non grata in the Proud Boys now. He can't even go to a thing that he started as a joke has now completely ran away from him. Because, like, with any group, right? If you have a group that people can join, anyone can join. Well, anyone can join. You're going to get assholes to join it.
Of course.
And you're also going to get law enforcement. And that's how you got this Enrique Tarrio guy.
Right.
Wild.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It's wild.
So they I guess they found his cooperator agreement.
Yeah.
And what, did he continue to be the head of the Proud Boys after that?
I think they arrested him recently. That's the thing about these guys is they don't get off scot-free. Like, they make you work as an informant, they make you be a snitch, and then they put you in jail.
Right.
They'll still put you in jail, but they won't put you in jail for life. Like,
right.
Okay, we'll give you 10 years instead of 50. And so these guys just do it anyway. I mean, they treat you like a real bitch. Like, they don't treat you like a half a bitch or like, hey, we're going to work out a deal. No, they treat you like a bitch. 2 days before a far-right mob stormed the U.S. Capitol, police arrested the leader of the Proud Boys militia group for burning a Black Lives Matter flag at a different protest.
Well, that's convenient.
Meanwhile, he's black, which is hilarious.
Right.
The fact that, like, you can't burn that flag. Meanwhile, if you burn an American flag, no problem at all.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm for that, but yeah.
You're for them arresting people for burning flags?
No. I'm fine with people burning flags if they feel like it. I mean,
I don't think you should arrest people for burning a flag. Like, I don't think you should arrest people for burning a piece of paper.
Right.
Like, you should be able to burn. If you want to burn something in protest, it's not like we can't make more flags.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we got plenty.
If you want to buy a flag and burn it, okay.
Yeah.
That's your big thing?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we should make flags out of asbestos. solve all the problems.
That would make for a lot of unphotogenic protests, but that would be funny.
Like, what the fuck? I'm just astounded by the lack of ability to see the future. The lack of ability to see where all this goes. That, like, in letting this happen, in not being outraged, in letting the government creep into all aspects of your life in this way. There's no net positive. In the end, it's just government control of speech and thought and content and everything you do.
Right, and complete capture of the media and all of that, and that's kind of what we're trying to fight against. And it's the one heartening thing is that the quote unquote mainstream press is now really, it's in free fall now, right? Its influence is more and more limited every day. The problem is that something needs to step up in its place, and but they're just they don't have any authority at all outside their own little bubble anymore.
Propaganda is a scary thing, and when you have mainstream news organizations going along with what appears to be propaganda with no pushback at all, like where's journalism? Like, journalism is such an important part of any sort of functioning culture where people need to find out what is the real information. And there's people that have a responsibility to try to find that information and then give it to people so they can make informed decisions. And they can know what is the workings behind the machine. What's the wiring? What's happening? How are these decisions getting made? When the corporate media doesn't do that anymore,